what's up? It's Ivy here, host of Feng Shui and author of Feng Shui for the Mind, Body, and Soul. And today I have a very special episode of Feng Shui for you. I had an opportunity to interview and have a conversation about the law of attraction with Wendy Alane Wright. She is the #1 acting career coach, and she is also a Hollywood talent manager. She has a following that spreads far and wide, and she came to Greenville, South Carolina to Above the Line Talent Studios in order to teach a couple of workshops for a few days. And so she allowed me to bring my cameras in and record our conversation about the law of attraction. Now, instantly, one of the things I thought of after I had this conversation with Wendy was about an interview that I saw on Oprah back in the 90s, 1997. And she was interviewing Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey was telling a story about when he would sit there and do this visualization exercise. He actually wrote himself a check for $10 million. And he wrote it for acting services rendered. That's what he put in the memo section, right? And he dated it for exactly 3 years from that date. And what he ends up talking about is how actually right before the 3-year mark was up, he actually ended up manifesting $10 million for a leading role in a movie. And so he was talking about the power of intention and the power of visualization. Now, back then in the 90s, I didn't know a lot about the law of attraction. In fact, I was still in school. And so I'm kind of telling my age there, right? But one of the things that we talked about was being able to set goals and having intentions. But it was really just the law of attraction. And now that I'm a spiritual teacher, many decades later, I'm able to teach these concepts and these principles to everyone that I come in contact with. Now, if you follow me on social media, whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram or Twitter, you know that I give these 1-minute law of attraction tune-ups, where I basically just tell you one little piece of the law of attraction and how you can apply it to your day, and it's in less than 60 seconds. And so it's just my way of being able to make sure that you get back into alignment for those desires that you have. Now, the law of attraction states that that which is like is drawn unto itself. So basically what it's saying is that what you think about is what you will bring about. If you can see it in your head and imagine it and to visualize it, you can bring that into your real life existence. And so I thought it was really great when I thought about that story, bringing it back full circle with my conversation with Wendy to show how people for so many years, thousands of years, have used the law of attraction. Now, if you don't know what the law of attraction is or you don't pay attention to it, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything bad. It's kind of like the law of gravity. It's in effect whether you know it or not. And so I thought this was a great conversation to be able to share with my audience and to be able to help your understanding about attracting all the desires that you want. In celebration of this conversation with Wendy, I've decided to do something amazing. I have a course that's called Awakenings. And on my website, you can purchase that course for $97. I just put it down to $97. It used to be $297. So I marked it down so it could be a little bit more affordable for everyone because I think it's information that absolutely every person deserves to know. But I was feeling good and I decided, well, we've had such a great conversation with Wendy and we know how amazing the law of attraction has been not only in her life, but in my life. Let's drop the price down even more. So you're lucky. If you are watching this video, you can go to my website and you can actually purchase this course called Awakenings for $27. Yes, you heard me, $27. You spend that probably buying coffee and lunch every single day. You probably can't even fill up your car with gas for $27. And so there's a link right here below the video, and it'll also be right here in the text, in the description of the video, giving you the direct link to purchase this course for $27. Now, if you go to my website and just click the course Awakenings, you're going to pay the full price, $97. But because you were smart enough to listen to this conversation and truly have a desire to become the best version of you, you're going to get my $300 amazing course for $27. And it's filled with lots of freebies and bonuses and great tips. It's giving you stuff for meditation and all sorts of things. So no matter where you are on this journey of the law of attraction and on your spiritual awakening path, you can start this course. It's not an advanced course. It's a course that will meet you no matter where you are on this journey. And because I feel like it's so important for you to be the best version of you, I wanted to offer this course to you. Everywhere we go in the world, we leave our imprints behind, much like the fingerprint on my shirt here. And so one of the things I want you to do is to become the best version of yourself. And so by taking this course, Awakenings, you're taking an amazing step to become the best version of you. So now, let's check out my interview and my conversation with Wendy about the law of attraction. Hey, what's up? It's Ivy here, host of Feng Shui It, and today we are up on the roof at the Embassy Suites in Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, that Greenville. All right, so today I have the one and the only Wendy Alane Wright. She's here in South Carolina, and you're here today doing an amazing acting workshop.
Yeah.
And so we're so thrilled that she was able to squeeze us in just to give us a couple of minutes so that we can talk about something that's really quite dear to both of us, and that's the law of attraction.
Yes.
And with you being here, one of the things that I really wanted to highlight, and the reason I wanted to talk with you, is that you live every day by the law of attraction. Everything that you talk about, everything that you teach, everything that you stand for is just the law of attraction. And one of the things that I'm always talking to my guests about, Wendy, is that I always tell them life is supposed to be fun. That is the apex of everything that goes on. And the first time that I met you, all I did was sit back in the crowd, and I'm like, God, her life must be amazing. She has a lot of fun. I want to hang out with you because you're fun.
Thank
So
you.
that's one of the things that I really, really loved about you and about the branding of you. Your
Yeah.
brand is fun. It's exciting. Now it's serious. I mean, you're good at what you do. I mean, as I said, you are
Thank you.
world renowned. You say Wendy Wright, and they know exactly who they're talking about, who
Yeah.
you're talking about. They know exactly who you are, and they know what you expect. You expect greatness.
Yes.
And so what does the law of attraction mean to you? What exactly does that mean in your life?
Well, I love that you had me on the show to talk about the law of attraction, and I watch your show and I love it. So thank you for having
you.
me. The law of attraction to me is when you are connected deeply to your highest center, your highest source, to source, and you're like in connection with the universe. And it's kind of like you decide something is going to happen for you, and it's not a question, it's a decision. It's like a knowing. This is what's going to happen. And you embrace that completely and fully on a very deep soul level. And it's when you do that, it shows up. And so for me, I've had instances of that show up so spontaneous, so quickly. Like I'll have the thought, I need a new dollhouse for my daughter. And I'll walk out of my front door, and the neighbor will put a new dollhouse out on the front yard because she doesn't need it anymore, and her daughter doesn't want to play with it.
Instant manifestation.
Instant. And I'll walk right out, and there it'll be. And that happens all the time. I was telling a woman that this wonderful talent agent brought me down here to teach acting, and I was telling her yesterday, sometimes I go like, universe, what's my issue right now that I'm working on? And one time I was trying to deal with the concept of, am I listening enough to people? Am I listening enough? And I was walking through a bookstore, and you know all the books are faced kind of like the same direction?
Right.
One was faced directly at me, and when I said, universe, am I listening enough? I looked over, the book said, are you listening? So my conversations with the universe or spirit is instant. And I think that's because I live in that place where I'm fully connected.
Right, and that's one of the things that we teach with the law of attraction is going through life with that expectation that the universe is conspiring to give you everything that you want.
Yes.
And when you have that expectation, it will show up instantly. There are such things as instant manifestation.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of times we fail to acknowledge it because we dismiss things that happen like that. Like, oh, well, that was just a coincidence that your neighbor had the dollhouse. Total coincidence. But what happens is that when we start giving attention to that and we actually start paying attention and saying, no, this was my creation, the universe says, oh, you like your creation, here you go, your creation.
And that's how the universe works. The purpose of a human being is to create, in my opinion, and that your creative energy is supported by the creative energy of the universe. So when you're acting fearless, in full connection with your own creativity, the universe will create with you to create what you're trying to create.
Right.
And it will bring people to you to help you create that, and they will just appear like magic almost along the path. Although I don't know if it's magic, but it's like magic.
It feels like magic.
Yeah, it feels like magic.
And that's what we call it, because there's no other example that we are aware of.
Yeah.
We're not really tapped in and tuned into these things, and so that's why we
Yeah.
go like, oh, well, that happens for them, but it doesn't happen for me.
Yeah.
And what we want people to really focus on is this idea that it can happen to you. It can happen to anyone at any moment, but you got to ask. You got to
Yeah.
be willing to receive
Yes,
it, and
yeah.
then you got to prove to yourself, like, oh, see, that did manifest. There's another one.
Yeah,
There's another
it's
one.
true.
There's another one.
And if you are willing to take responsibility for the life that you're trying to create, and you decide very clearly what your intention is, I mean, because it has to be very clear. For example, when I talk to actors and they say to me, I want to be on TV. That's not as clear as I want to have a guest starring role on a specific TV show.
Sure.
Or I want to have an agent representing me. That's not as clear as I want to be represented by this agency.
Right.
And you have to get very clear in your mind, because the universe will manifest that
Every
And
time.
every time. So if you are thinking negative thoughts, and you are thinking about what you don't want to have happen, a lot of times that's what you're going to get.
That's what you're bringing your attention to.
Whatever you focus your attention on, it expands.
That's right.
So you got to be very careful what you.
The
what you put your
universe is not
attention-
smart enough to go, don't means no.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
universe
yeah.
doesn't understand no. No is not in the universe's
The
vocabulary.
universe doesn't go, I wonder if she meant this instead of that.
Let me just do this in case this is what she meant. That's not what happens. What you're putting your attention on, what you're
Yeah.
putting your focus on,
Yeah.
is exactly what will happen
Yeah.
every single time.
It does. And I do believe in fun, and I believe that people should be themselves.
Right.
I know that's important to you also, that concept, and I think that people should be who they are without blocking their amazing self. I have a tattoo on my arm that says, within each human being is the jewel of God. And for me, God is the universe, God is the creator, the connective creative energy in the world, in the universe. And that inside each human being is a precious, amazing source, an energy inside. And the human condition often gets in the way of people expressing that. They get afraid of things. They
Right.
were raised in a way where they were told not to be who they are, that who they are is not good enough. These kind of things, but it's the person's responsibility in this life to release all of those negative thinking, situational things from their environment, and learn to embrace who they are, express who they are freely, openly, with joy, and be happy and present in the moment.
Right, and that's one of the things that I talk with even my clients on in one-on-one coaching,
Yeah.
is that they have this idea a lot of times of, I want to be the next so-and-so. I want to be just like this person.
Yeah.
And we stop immediately and I teach them, no, we already have that person. That's
Yeah.
not your slot to fill.
Yes.
Find your slot and what makes you great, because we're all here for that soul purpose. There's a soul purpose that each of us chose to come here for.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out what yours is.
Yeah.
And after you figure it out, make all paths lead to that
I
of
agree
which you
with
came
you.
here to do.
And that's the thing, is that that's the exact truth, because it's the same as in the acting business. When an actor comes and says, you know, I want to be the next Denzel Washington, or I want to be the next Meryl Streep. There is a Meryl Streep. There is a Denzel
We already
Washington.
have them.
We don't need that. We need a you.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
What is your brand? What is your identity? What is your talent?
That's right.
And if you can identify who you are and then become the best version of that,
Right.
that will make an impact on the world.
Exactly. You are then contributing to the expansion of consciousness here on Earth, and that's
Yes.
as good as it gets. So Wendy, can you tell our guests exactly how they can get in contact with you and about your new course, because it's pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely. So I created a course called the Hollywood Winner's Circle that teaches actors how to get started in the business, how to develop professional tools that you need. And you can find it at thehollywoodwinnercircle.com. And if you're interested in learning more about the acting world, I have written several books, 7 to be exact. And you can find all of those books on secretsofahhollywoodtalentmanager.com. And if you want to Skype with me directly or have an in-person consultation, I'm happy to do that with you. So I just want to say to everyone watching, go out and follow your dreams and don't let anybody get in your way, especially not you.
That's right. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I know you have a very busy schedule today. You've got a lot of classes, and people are excited to see you here in town, especially here on the East Coast.
I know.
So we're not going to take up too much of your time, but thank you so much
You're
for talking
welcome.
with me.